Hey everybody, welcome back to Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and that's Shy. I think I pointed in the correct directions for that.
Yep.
I
So,
think you did this time. Congratulations.
yeah, there we go. I'm getting things right. I'm using 100% of my brain, not 10%. Yeah. And today we are watching Made in Abyss. So, everyone, let's go ahead and see what people had to say last time. We got a bunch of comments, and we're gonna start off with a very big one. The first one is from Danatabori. The timeline of what happened in the series is pretty weird. I think the only thing we know for sure is that Riko was 2 years old when Liza went on her last dive, and the series starts 10 years after that, so Riko is currently 12 years old. Time to go differently into the abyss, so we don't know how much time went by for Liza. So the Bondrewd visit to Beloff is also a bit unknown. I don't think that he came back from that trip when he returned to the movie like you said. I think he did this trip earlier, when Nanachi and Midi were still at his place. This means that I think that the real Midi is in the jar. She still had both eyes, so it had to be before Nanachi escaped with her with Bondrewd. Basically, this is how I see it. Bondrewd went down to the 6th layer, where he showed Midi this immortal being that can regenerate to Beloff. Beloff then wanted her because he can feast on her forever, I guess, but Bondrewd didn't accept this offer. I don't know why he showed her then. Maybe he wanted to brag that he could make her into this. So anyway, Beloff then offered his limbs and other parts of his body to create a clone Midi. And the clone Midi we see here is created by the village of something like that. That's also why Midi can't leave the village. Maybe that also explains why this Midi can't look exactly like the original Midi. If you look closely, this one looks a bit cuter, with a more rounded head. You talked about why Nanachi turned fluffy when she got this blessing. Bondrewd also turned fluffy, but not as cute. I don't think this is a spoiler, but technically it's not canon. In the manga, there are bonus drawings between chapters and on the insides of the cover, and sometimes they are, I guess, what-ifs. There are drawings by the author of Made in Abyss, which show Midi and later Pushka in similar forms to Nanachi. I called these what-ifs because they show what would have happened if Midi got the blessing instead of Nanachi. Here is a link to the picture. So, I'm going to go ahead and open up on my end just to kind of get a reaction. We could go ahead and just pop that up on the video. Oh, that is adorable, actually.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
that's
baby.
good. Yeah.
Certified baby.
And to finish it off, Perska is a bit lewd, so I don't think I won't lick. I don't think I'll link it. But it seems like all three are similar, though based on different animals. Nanachi is clearly a rabbit, Midi looks like a cat, and Perska seems to be based on a squirrel. So maybe
That
this
works
blessing
in so
just
many
turns
levels.
people into any kind of fluffy animal-human hybrid. The Abyss is the furification tunnel. Congratulations, we found it.
I guess that
The
makes
fur
that,
affinity ground zero.
I guess that makes it Nanachi in the bottom right corner.
Mm-hmm. So, that was a long one. Shy, do you want to try reading the next one?
The one by Toad Taylor.
That's right.
Of course I want to read a comment by Toad Taylor. They a real one. Toad Taylor says, since you all seem to have the three sages of Ganja, the name of their squad, a bit confused, here's a quick breakdown. Vuererico, aka Vueko, pronounced Vueko, is the red and white-haired woman with low self-esteem and was in charge of Ganja's medical needs. Baloff, pronounced Baloff, is the blue-eyed man with a birthmark scar over his left eye and was Ganja's specialist in translation communication. His current form is a snake dragon-looking hollow. Wazukayon? How do you your alliteration there is weird, having the K isolated. I'm going to say Wazukyan is the tall, crazy, bug-eating prophet of Ganja, although how his foresight works is a mystery. His current hollow form is the spindly-armed wacko who high-fives Rico at the restaurant. Faputa is the Pronsis of the Hollows, and is not a member of the Three Sages. She is the fluffy four-armed girl who inexplicably calls Reg Reg. Maybe she simply regurgitated what she overheard, or perhaps there are some irregular abyss things at play, and took Reg back to her lair to ensure that Reg was her Reg, and not some other Reg named Greg. It is yet to be said how she relates to Ganja, but you all have expressed your theories on who she used to be.
Yeah, we have definitely had a little bit of a talking time trying to figure out exactly who she is, why she's important, and why she's not in town. There's a lot of stuff going down, including the torture pit. Don't go down to the torture pit. So, our last comment here is from Andrew Muggleton. I believe the Midi and Bondrude brought down to Bedeloff was in fact the real Midi. There isn't a time frame when Midi is created and Nanachi leaves with her. I don't think Bondrude has the ability to create perfect clones, however the Village of the Hollows does have this ability to a degree, with the will of the inhabitants and the concept of exchange of values, i.e. Beloff giving up a load of himself in order to reproduce Midi.
I still stand against that theory from both comments, by the way. I don't care how many of you commenters say it. I don't
It's
believe it.
magic!
No, I'm not saying. The village obviously created a clone MIDI.
Mhm.
I'm saying that is the clone MIDI. That's not the real MIDI.
Ah, right.
I don't think Bondrude carried MIDI off and went down into the abyss without Nanachi knowing about it.
Well, I mean...
So this ain't MIDI, it's Smitty.
Well, Nanachi doesn't seem to mind. That's all I'll
She
say.
doesn't seem to mind. She's gonna stay in this room forever.
Exactly.
She clearly
She's perfectly
minds.
happy with it. So speaking of staying in rooms forever, you want to hear what happened last time?
It would surely help one of us.
Last time on The Luring.
Theta doesn't remember what happened last episode.
I don't remember
Never
what
do.
happened. Rico considers making the trade, but is stopped by Magikaja and Ma. As Rico tries to find his way to rescue Nanachi, a monster enters the village and begins attacking the Hollows. Waco explains it is part of a ritual called the Luring, where since the villagers cannot leave to hunt, they instead lure monsters inside the village. As the battle rages on, Rico recovers her white whistle, now carved with its true shape. Meanwhile, the battle begins to turn against the villagers, and the restaurant owner, Mugi, warns Rico to stay away. Instead, Rico observes the monster carefully and lays a trap that incapacitates it. However, the monster continues to attack the villagers, including Ma. Rico is encouraged by Prishka's spirit to blow her white whistle, which summons Reg and powers him up enough to defeat the monster. Wazukian congratulates Rico and Reg and suggests that she obtain a piece of Papuda to trade for Nanachi's freedom. At the inn, Mugi and Majikaja's voice their suspicions about Waco, since they don't recall ever seeing her before. That explains everything. And Waco admits that she is actually one of the original 3 sages who founded Iriburu. She agrees to tell Rico, Reg, and their companions the story behind Papuda and the village's origins, noting that Wazukian looked terrified and witnessing Reg's power. So, just to add into this, last time we got a kaiju fight, and Reg went Super Saiyan.
Oh, also, I suppose just to also remind that apparently there was like a reg on every level of the abyss. At least one. And apparently we only know that there's like possibly 2 left. The one that's here on this level and Reg himself. And apparently Reg is the only one that can go to other levels.
Yep, the other ones apparently were set to stay where they are, and had some ability to communicate. And now the last one left is like, well, I can't get in contact with them anymore, so I guess they're dead. Which, honestly, fair enough. This is the Abyss.
Yeah, and now Reg can do a color change mode, which powers him up.
Yeah.
I mean, is it an anime if there's no Super Saiyan transformation, though?
I
Well,
mean,
it's
we already had the
different.
DBZ fight, so we had to have a Super Saiyan arc at some
Well,
point.
it's different from the
See?
color change mode that he had in the movie.
Mhm.
In the movie, he
That
goes
was sick,
like
though.
he does like
That
a
was
mob.
feral.
Sora anti-form in Kingdom Hearts is
I
what
was
he
gonna
did
say he
there.
does a mob psycho change in the movie.
He becomes less animated.
Well, no, I mean you've been watching Mob Psycho, Griff. You know.
Oh yeah, everything goes sketchy and fuzzy and such. The world is breaking down, etc. It's a good theme in general, for
Well, no,
sure.
I mean now Mob goes like a black form with
Mhm.
scratch lines all around him.
Yeah, exactly. So this episode, I think this is just going to be a backstory episode.
It's going to be a flashback episode.
Yeah, we're going to actually see all the things that happened to all the villagers and maybe get an explanation for why the founding of this village was so terrible, like what exactly happened.
Well, as we previously discussed, those people were already here.
Mm-hmm. And of course, why Veiko considers herself terrible and evil for trying to stop it too. So we're gonna go ahead and figure that out.
Because she's greedy. She says because she's selfish and greedy.
Okay, that's all. That's fair. That's fair. So, I guess there's not really a whole lot to say if that's where we're gonna get. We're gonna get a whole bunch of information. We're gonna have to figure out how we feel about it.
Real context hours. Who up?
So, I guess in the light of that, let's just go ahead and watch. Oh yeah, this is like the exact scene they left off on before, isn't it?
Right. The one where I said that these guys were here before. Oh, they were the machines. Okay.
I guess they let themselves be captured. They seem pretty chill with it. They're having a nice friendly meeting.
I mean, the middle one looks like the other one Reg was talking to.
Maybe they get bigger. Yeah, I think the world is a little bit crueler if there happens to be a Hydra haunting you at every step. Yeah, that checks out.
He's just playing.
試してみるほかなさそうだ。鐘楼の地に来た時は祭祀場の祭壇がたまたま動き降りることができた。原因は祭壇の近くにいた石を抱えた慣れ果て。彼を乗せた後に祭壇は動き出した。
Oh, they're going back up and they're all going to die. Whoops.
So I guess it was the first white whistle.
First white whistle, random little hollow.
祭壇は上り、数時間するとまた降りてきた。この地から人は人の姿のまま戻ることができない。ワズキャンから説明がある。我々は行くことも戻ることも叶わなくなった。だが伝説の黄金都市は確かに存在し、手つかずのまま広がっている。我々は今伝説の中にあり、その伝説を紐解ける唯一のものである。どうせ故郷を捨てた身だ。どこにも行けぬならここから始めよう。我々こそが地の底の黄金の最初の民となるのだ。
All of this was a campaign for a game of D&D inside of an Inquest magazine that I got in the 90s.
Well, I suppose inspiration comes from everywhere.
I can't believe Made in Abyss stole from D&D.
Well, more so from Inquest Gamer.
干渉機ちゃんなら水場知ってるんじゃないの？
聞いてみた。ルートの確保が課題だ。彼らは生き物ではないゆえに呪いにはかからないが、それゆえどの程度の証拠が異形の呪いをもたらすかも知らぬのだ。
困ったね。
これなんて書いてあるんだろう。
Yeah, I guess the natives have gotten here before.
驚いた。未知の文字列すらあるぞ。あの集落の識字率は我々をはるかに超えているな。この黄金鏡を理解するには君の持つ知識も不可欠のようだ。
Oh, the natives on the surface, like, seemed like they were more like oral tradition sorts. I didn't think they had a written language.
文字のできるものを集めてくれ。鑑賞機たちもだ。イルミウイ。
Well, apparently you thought wrong.
Yeah, I can be wrong. They gave us no other indications.
Sorry, I didn't know what other response there was to that.
Made me laugh.
村で一人前になったら体に模様の墨入れる黄金鏡の住人にならえ。でもイルミュイ、子供できない体入れたの捧げ物の墨だった。
なんだこいつ。
いつから入ってた？どうしたの？ブエコ、何かが帽子に入ってて。いつの間にいたの？これ。
Oh my
look at that
gosh,
little
just a
dude.
tiny rabbit. Oh. It might be dangerous. It's hiding in a hat doing that. It can't possibly be dangerous.
へえ、めちゃくちゃ慣れてるね。
殻を利用して隠れる生物にしては警戒心がなさすぎる。
Wait, that's a shell?
It's using the hat.
Oh, okay. I think I misunderstood what he was saying there.
ブエコ、その生き物を飼う余裕は。大丈夫。
You are running out of food.
おとなしい生き物が生き残ってる。だから
その生態を調べれば探索の我々の生存の突破口を足りうるかもしれんな。しばらく置いて様子を見よう。わずきゃん、いいな。
もちろんだ。可愛いしね。
水場の洗い出しができたぞ。呪いがかかる可能性。
Wasn't blue hair the hair color of that royal family?
うち2つの大きな水場は
Gosh, I don't even remember.
Yeah, that would have been mentioned like ages ago.
中に鉄塔が倒れているため水に錆が溶け込んでいる。もう一つは高温で
Sorry, I'll just be over here paying attention.
じゃあ結局一つなの？
干渉機は水を必要としない。故に飲用に適すか否かは我々で試す必要がある。
That'll stop the Hydra.
Ah, yes, yeah, the wooden fence.
Too much effort to bust it down. I'll find another way.
透明、匂いもない。待って、沸かしてから。
Literally boil it first.
持ち帰ろう。みんなが待ってる。
Ah, yes, the invisible cyanobacteria lives in this one.
水源を確保できた自分たちはそれを足がかりに人食いの黄金都市で生き残る術を犠牲を出しつつではあるが
Giant fluffy shark, I guess.
身につけていった。どうしたのイルミュイ？大丈夫？ちょっと暑い。母さんの匂い。ふへ、それが
He's dying.
イルミュイが最初に私に懐いてくれた。母さんの匂い。たくさんの人と交尾した匂い。母さんとても偉いから。
Damn.
たくさん子供
Well, I mean, we already know what her fucked up backstory
I mean, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just like, damn, that's...
兄たち
Damn.
可愛がってくれた。でもイルミュイ調べたら子供できないわかった。イルミュイ呪われてる言われた。呪われたもの大穴が産んだから大穴に帰る。
Dude, just come back with the water later.
兄たちもイルミュイ見なくなった。もう子供違う言われた。イルミュイ、自分もね、子供ができなくて、だからお母さんの代わりにはならないけど。代わりとかじゃない。末子がいい。やだ、もう捨てられる。
Oh.
I know, this is still adorable right here.
自分は
It's like, no, I want you. You're actually nice.
でした。だが闇の中でようやく見つけ、触れ合ったものは
Yeah, that's right. Don't ruin the moment. Just leave them have
なん
it.
てなんて温かい闇なのだろう。話したりしないよ。イルミュイ。
Very much reminds me of that one girl from One Piece. The one who'll do whatever you say, even if you tell them to kill themselves.
Oh, jeez.
Because they don't
One
want.
Piece, what's up with you?
Because they don't want to be turned away by anybody ever again.
One Piece characters are usually defined by
Rabbit's
one
dead.
extreme character trait.
Oh gosh, they off-screened it.
Well, I mean, it's Main Abyss. We can't have nice things.
The pets were never meant to make it very far.
ベーコベーコほら起きてください。はい。イルミュイ、おはよう。
Oh yeah, you're dying.
イルミュイ。ケリー、こんなに
Why are you touching it?
透明な卵。
Oh.
芋虫。
Alright, not fever, terrible infection. That everyone has.
昨日まで微熱だったのに。ヘイチェムのここ、見てください。足の指、溶け固まった鉛みたいに。
Holy.
みんな、下痢の跡がある。看病に水がいる。これ、伝染の可能性もある。
Well, good thing you dipped your hand right into
ベー
it.
ラエルコ、あとは頼んだぞ。
Well, I mean, like, step one would be figuring out why them and not anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
熱が下がらない。ベーコ、今度は何？
They're just straight turned into trees, I guess.
食料の調査隊だと。
Fun way to be a druid.
3人だけで戻ってすぐ事切れてしまったので。この姿、何？
アジャポカ、岩の一部を採取したい。頼む。岩ではない。幾重にも折り重なり、溶け固まった大型生物の死骸。我々はこれを作った原因を口にしていたのか。
ベラフ、どうする？ここ以外に持ち
So I guess boiling it didn't help.
持ち帰る。
I guess so.
我々に必要な水だ。その上で知らせねば。
ねえブーコ、これカバンの中にあったんだけど何かわかる？
神がかりの預言者は何か予感があったのだろうか。異物だと思います。何に使うのかまでは。
干渉機くんなら知ってるかな？
それとも大穴の魔力が我々の欲に感づいてよこしたのだろうか。いずれにせよこれだ。
Can't remember. Have we seen that?
It's been in the opening at the very least.
Okay, yeah, it's been in the opening. That's all we got.
そのものが生物とはね。下痢の中から出たあれは卵や種の類だろうね。
そんな煮沸までしたのに。
I wonder if that thing is like the seed that's gonna make the city, because the city kind of enacts its own rules and stuff, right? If the city
Yeah.
itself was a relic, that would make sense.
それを拒み、乾き倒れるか。
大穴での飲み食いは挑戦ばっかだったけど、今回のは特にやばいね。
発症や症状に個人差があるから調べれば対策が見つかるかも。
急務だな。
もう一ついいかな。
それをどこで手に入れ？
これを持ち帰った食料調達隊は仕掛けた罠を回っていたと思うんだけど、その道すがらで心当たりとかある？
わからない。
あの子たちはここに戻ってきた時はまだ息があったんだけど、ひょっとしてこの異物が関わってたりする？
それの仕業。丸い異物は願いの形。ささやかなもの。
Round is the shape of wishes, everyone. New fact.
Big lore.
違う。どの願いでもない。それは欲望 の洋蘭、君たち風に言うと願いを叶える卵だ。直に触れない方がいい。取り込まれ
So
て
you're
気
saying
合が散るとはなる。
I wish I was a tree and then I
その
died.
生態は雑多で複雑で適していない。使わせるなら
Wish.
状態
I
がいい。
wish I would live through this. Okay, you get to do so as a tree.
ダメだ。水を取ることが必須なのに、その水が体を。イルミュイ、どうしたの？
Ooh.
Yup.
そんな、ダメ、戻って。
It's just tell her to turn back to normal.
あの願いを叶える卵かい？
大人がダメでも、子供ならうまくいったりしない？
妖体の感じる恐怖、ずっと原初に近い。可能性はとても高い。
許可する。
It's not great if your wish granting relic requires enormous amounts of
自身
fear.
の願いにかけよう。
ところで
Yeah.
ああ、ついに
There's no way that could get warped.
強がってたけど、
そんな。
時間はあまり残されていない。頼んだよ、ブエコ。
Make a really good wish.
あの子は必ず我々の救いになる。
There we go, prophet moments.
我々は汚れを押し付けられ、排斥された者たち。居場所を子孫の代まで奪われた者たち。イルミユイはその末の妹だ。救う手がありながら差し伸べねば、我々は再び居場所を失う。
お願い、治って。あの子は必ず我々の救いになる。初めて間近で見た神がかりの預言者の顔。お腹すいた。
Oh, hey, it just straight up worked perfectly.
Her hand is still fucked up.
He was very afraid. Oh!
Oh, she owns the egg.
Oh! Wait, I think we saw that, right? In the thing that she becomes later on?
I don't recall seeing it on the thing that she becomes, unless I'm wrong about the thing she becomes.
この子は何を
Thought I remembered seeing some weird egg-shaped thing in its chest.
覚えてないみたいで。ほら、いじったら痛くなっちゃうよ。
痛くない。
どう思う？
ブエロエルコに任せ、我々は支えに徹しよう。イルミュイと最も心を通わせたのが彼女だ。イルミュイの願いもそれに関わっていると思いたい。
限界は迫っていた。動けたものも日々倒れ、もはやほとんど残っておらず。
So,
自分まで
kids could use it, kids can survive after using it, so all the adults die. Woo.
Well, no, it's fused with her. No one else is using it.
Oh, that's right. Oh. Okay.
体、どこか痛くないの？
平気。ブエコ、なんで悲しい？
なんでも、なんでだろう。イルミュイは大丈夫？悲しくなることあったりしない？
ブエコがいるから平気。
What a baby.
イルミュイの体はね、イルミュイがお願いした姿になろうとしてるんだって。この選択が間違いではなかったと祈るばかりだ。
Children's wish. I just wish to be fluffy.
この子は自らの幸せを、自らの恐怖が消えることを願ってくれたのだろうか。
No, fears are actually still there.
イルミュイ、どうしたの？
She wanted to have a baby, yeah.
Ooh.
自分はどうすればよかったのだろう。
Ow!
This straight chest burster too.
優しく舐めてあげて。翌日、赤子は息を引き取った。食物を摂取するための器官がなく、食べることも飲むこともできず、イルミュイの手の中で弱っていった。これがこの子が願ったことなのか。この子の願いは2人目が生まれたの。一体何に届いてしまったのだろう。2人目も3人目も、その次も
Dude.
生まれては死んでいく。願いの形を奪われ続
This
ける悲しみ。
pile of dead babies. My gosh. The show just keeps going more and more.
尻が辛い。下痢。ついに来たのか。体が動かない。水が欲しい。ひたすらに水が。イルミュイ、ごめんね。自分はひどいやつだ。得体の知れないものに願いを蝕まれ続けるあなたを置いて、あなたのことを思いたいのに、もうただただ水が欲しい。
あの子の願いを叶えてやりなよ。できるのは君しかいないんだ。
油の香り、なんて香ばしさ。早くそれを。こんなにうまいものがあるなんて。
ほら、ゆっくり。
Please God, don't let it be the dead babies.
Oh, why would you say that?
It's,
oh
gosh.
Because this is a fucking horror movie, and that's the only
I mean,
thing it
you're
could be.
right. I can't
like
tell you you're wrong, but damn.
It got worse and worse and worse, and now you reached the peak. Theta, congratulations.
Also, what else could she be, like, blaming herself for? For greed and selfishness.
おはよう。やっぱり効果てきめんだったね。
We should have just made chicken soup the whole time.
大丈夫。みんなにも振る舞ったさ。
Now we're all guilty together.
言っただろう。あの子がみんなを救ってくれたんだ。
Yep, I'm right.
He's not any less crazy than he was before, that's for sure.
I mean, he did a
Jesus.
horrible thing. But I mean, he did save everybody too, so I mean...
Every single step of the process was absolutely horrible.
What was the name of that plane crash in the Alps? Where they had to eat each other to survive?
I know the one you're talking about, but I don't remember what it's called.
I don't remember the name of that one either, though I am thinking Donner Party these days, apparently.
No, that was like an expedition. The plane crash is the one where people died, but they ran out of food.
I guess this is an expedition.
They died and then they ran out of food.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where the only food left is the dead bodies.
So, like, what drugs do you guys think that the author of this series does when they sit down and write? Because Jesus, how do you think of this stuff?
You know what? Let's go with some LSD, and it's just a very bad trip. You get the paranoid experience, not the fun experience.
I feel like it's a rabbit hole, right? Like, he came up with an idea,
Sorry.
and then he's like, extrapolated the idea, and just kept going further and further. Because it doesn't become hard to reach certain points. Like, even I could call out what was happening.
I mean, I think you put it best.
Griff, wait. Sorry, I like to be able to put these on the screen, so when we're talking, I can't do that.
It's all good. But yeah, no, I think you put it best. Made in Abyss is the rabbit hole of horror, both figuratively and literally. We just keep getting more rabbits. So, how many are we gonna get on the next layer?
You know, I didn't realize exactly how many rabbits were in the show till you just said that just now.
Oh dear. Well, I certainly am understanding more and more about why this village came to be, because they're not going to survive very long if they have to keep up this state of affairs. So yeah, no, literally anything else would be better than this, right?
Well, it's her babies also look like the pet that died. So she's kind of getting two wishes in one there.
And
yes.
like, they just said that she never stops feeling the intensity of the pain of losing her children, and old sage man is like, cool, keep that up, we hungry.
Well, it's like they're born to die, because he says that they don't have any internals, basically. They can't process food or anything.
They literally
eat it.
exist to die. They cannot do anything else, unfortunately. But yeah, no, it's like 3 different wishes wrapped in one, with like the perfect innocence of there can be no terrible externality of this at all that only a child could think of, right? It's like, I want the rabbit back, I want to have kids, and I want everyone to survive and live. And probably because of me. Well, you got all that. I hope you enjoy the hole in your chest.
I think I'm at least a little bit cushioned from this, because I think I've read this story before. There's a book called Eon. I think I've mentioned it 100 times, so anyone will listen. It's a hard sci-fi novel, but one of its side books has like 3 books total. I think it's not Eternity. Can't remember the title. They go to a planet that's basic Lemurican evolution, which is the debunked style of evolution that they thought.
Yeah, the more you do something, the better your kids will be at it, which doesn't make any sense.
Right, which is the whole planet of it. And one of the guys who forms like one of the colonies on the place basically just starts teaching an intelligence on the planet how to do things in a human form, to the point that the intelligence kind of like plant grows a body that looks like a human woman. And the dude's fucking it. I don't know how else to say it. The dude is fucking it. And before they leave, they basically, this dude, by fucking this thing, has killed the whole planet. But this plant gives birth to a baby, which then almost immediately dies, because it has no concept of what a human body should be.
Of course.
So it's basically the same concept that we have here.
Yeah, I see it.
The last couple of episodes, like just comparatively, have been kind of breezy. They've been more the emotional torment of our primary cast, and now we're just back to the straight up body horror.
Well, because this group in the flashbacks is basically our main party. Just different people. Like the little girl is
the beta test version.
Yeah, she's basically Rico. Screaming about her hand, she has all these problems. Born in the abyss, sent to the top, sent back down into the abyss.
Got all these problems.
I mean, she's even had a little pet. So she's basically Rico in all 100 different ways.
You know, just stopping to think about it, they still had the restaurant in the city. Still serving up roughly the same looking stew. And granted, they could just be stew looking because it was just something else.
We know it's not
but
those.
But now suddenly there's stew content.
We know it's not those because what's her name isn't in the city.
True. And also, she seems to be completely different now anyway, so... Or well, I mean, if she is that.
She could be broken. She could have been broken by this completely into the fact that she's now a completely different person.
Or she could be, like, one of the rabbit things that eventually is, like, continually created, right? A totally new entity.
I mean, it's hard to tell. Anything could be true.
That is true. Made in Abyss can do whatever it wants, and it will make sense, honestly.
Well, I mean, there's an underlying layer of anything makes sense in the moment. Like, they get the water, we're like, oh, boil the water, of course. No conception that the water's still filled with eggs, which are immune to the boiling heat, which makes sense because we see things when they first came down early in the season that I can't remember what it was. The first things that they eat when they get to this lair.
Right.
When it was immune to the heat because those things grow up next to like an active volcanic geyser.
Oh yeah, there were geysers all over the place when they got here.
Right, and that stuff was immune to the heat, which is, I guess, the show's way of preempting us that boiling the water might not kill everything. Because there's stuff around here that lives in boiling water.
This also now explains the trailer images we saw, where it's just like, yeah, they get down there and now they're all dying. Yes, this is the moment where the entire cast dies. Like, no, they live just by horrible means.
Well, we know that they become mutated at some point, so we're seeing this. We know what happens to most of them, so This is just the horror of now seeing that happen.
Yep, they all now get to go live in the city together happily forever after, right?
Well, they haven't found the city yet. Assumedly, the prophet has foreseen the city.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yes, crazy old Wazukian.
Well, I mean, he's led them across the planet to the abyss, and now he's leading them towards the city. So,
those crazy eyes.
I mean, he can't be that crazy.
My man Moses really out here. You doing it?
Like, if the implication is that he's a prophet, and he's seen all of this and knows all the steps, he's like, alright, in order to get to this final state, we also have to do all this weird stuff, and then cook the babies and eat them. Oh yeah, he's full on crazy.
No, I don't think the implication is that he knows all the steps. Because remember when they were starving to death on the boats on the surface? And he's like eating bugs as they fly past.
Yep.
He knows generally. He's getting like feels of what he needs to do. But otherwise,
when is any prophetic vision ever perfect, Griffin, in any media ever?
That is true. But I think you still gotta be crazy like him to go through with it all.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
I mean...
But I mean, you gotta be a little bit crazy to go diving down there in the first place.
This is a good level of crazy, though, honestly.
Somewhere on the surface, he had a vision, right? And he had convinced a bunch of people to get on boats to sail across the sea to a place that they didn't even know existed that just happened to have a hole in, the abyss in it. So, I mean, he's gone a real long way just to be proven right.
Oh, yeah. So, any sort of final comments we got here? Shai, you got anything?
Gosh, that was just startling amount of body horror right at the end. Just right at the end.
I think nothing speaks as loudly as our combined silence in the final scenes.
I know, I didn't even crack a joke or anything.
Well,
normally got some kind of funny one-liner for that to alleviate the tension for myself, but I was just like,
gotta absorb it.
Well,
like,
I think
this is happening.
Yeah, to alleviate all the tension, I feel like making Rabbids 2 today for some reason.
Bruh.
Yeah, no, had to go there. Alright, so I think that's probably going to go ahead and wrap us up for Made in Abyss today. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and that's Shai, and we will catch you next time. See ya, everyone. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?